Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam, welcome. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurupal Guru Varga ki jai, Pratik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giridhar Maharaj ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Hari Rama Sankirtan ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. We're going to start with Mangalacharan on page 1. Vandeham, B-A-N-D-E, Vandeham, page 1 in this songbook, Sri Gauriya Giti Gucham. Is there another windstorm coming?
No, it sounds like a motorcycle outside.
Okay. Just checking. There have been windstorms every day.
She's just checking it. Sounds strange.
Bringing a lot of dust.
It's a machine. Yeah, it's a machine.
Okay. So page 1 in this book, Mangalacharan.
Dandavat Pranam. Cecilia. What? Whatever you pick out.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam Shri Guru Vaisnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganam Raghunathan Vikam Kamsajeevam Sadvetam Savadhutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vikamshcha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayanitti Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Parambarinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasam Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padajimitaika Hriddi Chaitanya Leela Amrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namahum Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Deshatarine Namahum Vishnupadaya Gaura Krishnaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Prajnana Keshava Nityanamine Pati Madhya Charitraya Swashritanam Chamanine Jiva Dukhe Sadartaya Shri Rama Premadayine Namahum Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabharami Devi Daitaya Kripabhaye
कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दैने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाद्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिना श्रीगौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये निनकारिणे रूपानुगव्यनुधाप सिद्धान्तोद्भन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदं पूजयते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगम्बरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महामदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्गो मम मन्दं मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधावदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमान् श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव पृष्ठानिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भे वंशीवतस्ततः कर्षन्मेनुस्वरैर्गोपी गोपीनाथश्रीयैस्त्रिनः वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुरिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मसपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलम् कलो नास्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Bindu Dia, page 32. Starts with Gurudev,
Kripa Bindu Dia.
KRPA.
BINDU.
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Dia, Gurudev Das, Vinabhevaya Kripa.
Sudevi wants me to ask you if she sang the last line of Gurudev Kripa Vindudiya twice. Because I said that she sang it twice. Can you confirm?
At the Jogita Vichara.
Jogita Vichara. Sure?
Yeah.
I just remember hearing Tumara Karuna Sa, Tumara Karuna Sa, Karuna no Hoye Kadiya Kadiya. Yeah. There's no harm singing it twice. We can sing it a
I
million times.
didn't sing it twice. This is an international incident now. Everybody has to tell us who's right.
Thakura Vaisnava Pada, Avanir Susampada, page 38, starting with Thakur, Thakura. Thakura Vaisnava Pada, 38. So according to the international incident, I had my eyes closed and I was playing harmonium. So I don't know if we sang it twice or if it was led twice or not. But whoever's leading the bhajan, generally, they should know whether they are leading once or twice, so I'm not sure. But if you can tell us, then it would be good to know.
She only did it once.
You only did it once? Sige. Well, we're waiting for a message.
That's not the answer, Bhagavatamrita.
He just said twice is all good.
Twice is all good. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. We definitely did at least once in the lead and once in the repeat. So there we go. The Thakura Vaishnava Pada. Thakura Vaishnava Pada. Avaniro Susampada.
Nitai Pada Kamala, Koti Chandra Shushitara.
Page 58, starting with Nitai. Nitai. 58. Nitai Pada Kamala. Still going?
Yeah. There's just
What's wrong?
nothing. It's perfect.
You want to read it? What page is Kejavi?
73?
Page 73, Kejavi, Bhai, Bhavasindupar. That's K-E space, Javi, J-A-V-I. Kejavi,
And as always, thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, for posting everything plus all the nectar. Thank you. Shri Krishna Gurudev. Okay. I guess that was enough now.
That was enough. Yes. Sarvasva tomar charane sampiya purechi tomar ghare tumi to takur tomar kukur boliya jano hai more. Sarvasva, Sarvasva, page
205.
205. Sarvasva tomar.
Tell the Gurudev about this bhajan, loyalty.
Although this bhajan was written by Bhaktivedanta Thakur in a mood of loyalty and submission to the Lord, to Krishna, our Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. We were in San Diego in Vinodini's house. At that time, Srila Gurudev told us that this bhajan can also be sung for Gurudev. And he mentioned 4, just giving us an example, these Sharanagat bhajans. So this is Sarvasva Tomar, Manas Deho Geho. Oh gosh, I can't remember the other one. It starts with the A, not Avatar Sar, the other one. Atmani Vedana Chopare Kori and Shri Rupa Manjari Pada, same or Sampada. Also Anyabilashita Shunyam, Anukulyasya Sankalpa. So all of this can first and foremost be applied to Shri Guru. So this bhajan that we're going to now pray to, these bhajans are like manifestations from the heart of the pure Vaishnavas, and they have personalities of their own. Bhaktivedanta Thakur is saying, everything that I have thought that I possessed, I'm offering to you. Sarvasva Tomar, everything is yours. Everything I'm offering at your lotus feet. Charane Sampya, Orechi Tomar Ghare. Tumi to Thakur, Tomar Kukur, Boliya Jana Humari. You are my master and I am like your dog. Why is he saying this? He explains it in the rest of the verses. What is the nature of a dog? How they are loyal. How they will only take the remnants of their master's foodstuff. How they will bark very loudly against any intruder. How they will protect their master. How they will be so happy upon seeing their master, they will begin dancing around him. Anyone who is friendly or favorable, they will be friendly and favorable to them. This is the mood of loyalty which Gurudev said is the most important quality of a disciple. And we can learn that from a dog. That doesn't mean that we should bring dogs into our lives and become attached to dogs. It means that we can emulate that kind of quality and offer that to the lotus feet of our Gurudev. Today I was reading from Srila Gurudev, maybe many of you have read it, about mamata. Mamata means possessive mood. Srila Gurudev was saying that if you have anything in this world, any friends, any family members, or your Gurudev or Krishna, your mamata, the possessive mood of your heart will have to go toward anything. It cannot just remain with yourself. Some feeling of attachment that I am yours or you are mine must be manifest. And if it is not manifest toward Guru and Krishna and Vaishnavas, then it will be manifest toward persons of this world or things of this world. Like Bharat Maharaj, he said, manifested his mamata or his possessive mood that you are mine toward a deer and subsequently became a deer. So we should manifest our mamata or possessive mood that, oh my Gurudev, you are mine and I am yours. Radha and Krishna, Nitai Gauranga, I am yours and you are mine. If we manifest this mamata toward them, this possessive mood, then we can easily run forward on the path of perfection. Gurudev said, actually, this is the root of real bhajan. Bhajan means those activities, those practices that we engage in to bring about our perfection in bhakti, in love and devotion to the Lord. So the root of that is having mamata, or possessive mood, attachment to the lotus feet of Sri Guru. What is it? Sri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttamagati Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asha. Attachment to the lotus feet of Sri Guru is the perfection which will fulfill all desires. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha. The mercy of Sri Guru is everything. All of our hopes, aspirations, and everything. So in this bhajan, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur is telling us that just like a dog, if we have a master, then we have no fear. Srila Gurudev used to make the example of a small dog, even if you're a little dog. But if you're walking with your master, Gurudev said, a small dog knows that my master is very powerful. He has so many big guns. So that little dog can bark very loudly as long as he knows my master is with me. If he's on his own, he would never bark at those bigger dogs. But because he's with his master and he has faith, my master is so powerful and strong, then he will not hesitate to even bark at the bigger dogs. So when we are taking shelter of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, they are very, very powerful. They are the great generals of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's war against Maya. If we're holding on tightly to their lotus feet, staying close, as Narottam Das Thakur said in the bhajan, Nitai Pada Kamala, Nitai Pada Sarakoro Ash, or keep me closely tucked to your reddish-like lotus feet. Your reddish lotus feet. If we hold on tightly and keep ourselves close to the lotus feet, that means the instructions, the teachings, the moods, and representing Sri Guru. Representing them, their moods, and developing possessiveness, mamata, for them. Then very easily, we can also bark loudly and represent them. What is that barking? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Today I was reading from Srila Prabhupada, and he was speaking about this particular subject. And he was speaking to his devotees like a military general is speaking to all of the other generals, how they should go out and boldly and loudly proclaim the teachings of Mahaprabhu everywhere, one after another. He was giving instructions. It was so beautiful to witness. So we can take this lesson from a dog, how to be loyal to Gurudev, not to consume the poison of this world, but only to consume the prasad, means the mercy, the remnants of our Gurudev, and those persons who are like our Gurudev, our Rupananda Guru Varga. What page again? 73?
205.
205, Sarvasvatamar.
And Jiva Pavana Prabhu has already added it to the thread for
Thank
anyone
you,
who
Jiva Pavana
doesn't
Prabhu.
have it. Thank you, Prabhuji.
What tune do you want me to do? Yeah.
Not so low.
Sarvasvato ma charane sapiya purichito marabhare Sarvasvato ma charane sapiya purichito marabhare
Haribol. Going off and on a lot.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, sorry about that. We're going to start over again. Is that okay? Hare Krishna, can you see us?
We're
Are you there?
starting with
Haribol?
internet. No.
Hare Krishna. Haribol? Yes, alright. Sorry, we're going to begin again, okay? We're going to start all over again with that bhajan. We're on a different connection.
Drummer room is off completely again.
I think I'm going to get a different internet provider.
If you're watching.
Okay, so once again, Sarvasvatomar, page 205.
Would you like to tell them how you go back and then you go back to the last line? Because that might help.
If you didn't notice before, when we're singing, we sing on each one, like the last section of the bhajan, of each sentence, Boliya Jano Humore, and then we go to the last section of the sentence above it, which is Bore Chito Mara Ghare. It's a stylistic approach from the Gaudiya Vaishnava singers who have come from Bengal. You notice I didn't say Bengali Vaishnava singers, but those who have come from Bengal. Sometimes they call it American devotees, German devotees, but actually they're not devotees of America or Germany or Bengal. All devotees are devotees of Krishna, devotees of Mahaprabhu, no matter where you're from. So it's not Bengali devotees, it's devotees from Bengal of Mahaprabhu. Jai. So we're going to start over again. Sorry about that. Please forgive our internet provider.
Don't give up on us.
Sarvasvatoma Charane Saviya Porichito Maro Ghare Sarvasvatoma Charane Saviya Porichito Maro Tumi Tomaro Tuku Tumi Sarvasva
Krishna Govinda Govinda Gopala Gopala Nandalal Krishna Govinda Govinda Gopala.
Chant loudly.
Krishna Govinda Govinda Gopala. Krishna Govinda Krishna Govinda Govinda Gopala. Krishna Govinda Govinda Gopala. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanathimiranthasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girin Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times unto the dust of the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, our beloved Gurudev. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Astottara Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same unlimited Dandavat Pranam unto the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Astottara Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Also to all of our Rupanu Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of those who are still with us. My Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Sudevi.
Dandavat pranam.
So what was that question?
She was asking about how to deal with anxiety. Being anxious, like we're supposed to be surrendered and we're supposed to, but sometimes we have anxiety, especially maybe previous life things, conditioning, whatever it might be. But how do we deal with anxiety?
That question is very subjective, because each of us, I'll rephrase the question or repeat it. How do we deal with anxiety? Everyone is on their own individual, subjective evolution of consciousness path. Means we're all exactly where we're at according to our karma, our samsara, our sukritis, our experiences from previous lifetimes. And so for some persons, they have a tendency toward more anxiety, and others have a tendency toward less. Some persons cannot help themselves. They become afraid of everything. Some persons are hypochondriacs. Some persons panic very easily. And little things will set them off. Any little thing. Especially like now. I mean, people aren't used to not having human contact and doing the normal things and being locked in their spaces for months at a time. This is unprecedented, at least in our lifetime, in our history. Previously, only we've read about this in scriptures when there's demons harassing the devotees. They've all had to lock themselves down in mountain caves. So otherwise, we've not heard of lockdowns like this. So this also brings out all kinds of fears, all kinds of anarthas, all kinds of things we don't even realize are inside of us. It all comes out. So how do we become free from this? First of all, I just wanted to acknowledge that it is subjective. There is an ultimate answer for everything. But even how that ultimate answer will affect us will also be according to our sukriti, means our previous lifetime's merits and this lifetime's spiritual merits, and our sanskar. Sanskar means, sanskar is like it's an impression, a scar, if you want to call it that. Something which is a permanent kind of impression. So we've had many previous impressions from many previous lifetimes. Some have more, and you can see that they come to the path of bhakti and they're able to fly past like a rocket so quickly. And others might be moving more slowly, more steady if you want to call it that, just more slowly, according to their previous lifetimes and this lifetime's merits and impressions. To the extent that we have those previous impressions, to that extent we will be able to receive. Because I fix computers on the side, I help a lot of devotees with their difficulties when it comes to that. I'll give you a very simple example. Once I needed some software for my computer. So I had a hard drive. It was 100 gigabytes hard drive. On this 100 gigabyte hard drive, I had about 90 gigabytes of information. The software that I needed to make music was about 35 gigabytes. But I was unwilling to give up any of the stuff that I had on my hard drive. So I could not receive what was being given to me or what was being offered to me because I was unwilling to make room for it. So we have this same kind of problem when we come to Guru and Vaishnavas. We ask for mercy, but we're unwilling to let go of our attachments, our anarthas, and we're not making room to receive the mercy they want to give. In that, it becomes very difficult to move forward. But even that is a function of their mercy. When they say you should let go, open your hand and let go of what you're holding on to so that I can give you something. It's very difficult to do that. So, how to become free from anxiety? First, we need to understand where it comes from. Anxiety is a form of fear. And Srimad Bhagavatam tells us where fear comes from. If we go back to the source of it, then it helps us to understand. Bhayam dvitiya biniveshatasya isharapeyasya viparyayo smrti tanmaya yato buddha abhachittam bhaktyayakayesham Gurudeva tatma. Fear arises due to misidentification with the body. Means I and mine. Bhoma ijyadi. This body is mine, this house is mine, this family is mine, this country is mine. We have mamata or possessiveness for all of these things, and the fear of loss or the fear of lack of control, even it can be due to our own ego, fear of not being in control of my environment can cause so much anxiety, especially for people that like to be the controllers, which is most of us. That's why we're here in this material world. So anxiety comes as a result of that. Although Shastra says, and all Vaishnavas say, if you take shelter of Sri Harinam, if you cry and weep and chant the holy names of the Lord, this will remove all anxiety. It will remove the blazing forest fire of material existence and awaken us to our true transcendental nature of prem. Still at this time, on my own, I have no strength. I cannot even take shelter of Harinam Prabhu. So when the anxiety comes, what can we do? At this point in time, we're really, really heavily dependent upon the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas. Tomara Karuna Sar. We're dependent upon the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas. Those persons that we can develop a relationship with, who can help us to, and I'm talking about real Guru and Shuddha Vaishnavas, by their association, by witnessing their nature, by seeing their surrender to Krishna, and by seeing their obsession with Krishna, a higher taste can manifest in their association, by which the lower taste, we have taste for those things that we are accustomed to. And what are we accustomed to for all time? Birth, disease, old age, death, suffering, fear. We know this. It even becomes comforting. And many people will tell that it's almost like an addiction. Fear is like an addiction. I cannot stop myself. I begin to consume myself with it. And then I go into that space, the fear and anxiety. How to become free from it? I've seen it practically. As I mentioned the other day, there was that devotee who told Gurudev, I'm addicted. What was he addicted to? Heroin. Gurudev said, offer your addiction to me. I will remove that thing very easily. This is the power of the pure devotees of the Lord. Even if we're having such a difficult time and we're calling out the holy names, but we don't have full faith. We have a picture of Lord Nrsimhadev open, but we don't have full faith. We haven't yet developed our sambandha or relationship, but we have met, or we may very soon meet, the first form of the mercy of Krishna in our lives. That is Sri Guru and Shiksha Guru. Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, Shuddha Vaishnavas. Those personalities who can manifest or awaken Shraddha in our heart. This is Prema Bhakti first in the form of Shraddha, by which avidya, all ignorance, all anarthas, including fear, anxiety, and everything else, will gradually be eradicated by taking shelter of such personalities, by loudly calling their names and crying out for help, for shelter. As Raghunath Das Goswami says in Srimad Shiksha, as we are walking down the open road, so many rogues, thieves, dacoits will attack us from all sides. What is that? Lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, pride, fear, anxiety, all of these will come to attack us. And at that time, what hope do we have? I fight this on my own. I don't have enough strength. These are all my impressions, not only from this life, but from millions and trillions of lifetimes in this material world. How can I escape that on my own? I'm so weak. I'm so weak. I need help. So loudly cry out, call out for the shelter of those very powerful generals on the path, on this battlefield. We're actually fighting all of these things, but we don't have enough strength on our own. So we call out to them, Srila Gurudev ki jai. You should be victorious over my heart. You should come and sit on the throne of my heart, and I will serve you there. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Calling out to them, to all of our Guru Varga, offering our Dandavat Pranam to them and giving them pride of place in our heart. Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghuna Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghuna, calling out loudly to these generals of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's army. They are very powerful, and they can very easily remove these attachments to those anarthas. And why am I saying attachment? We've seen how anxiety comes. I'm attached to that thing. It's something that I know that if I focus on enough, I can bring myself to that place. I even have the power to make that thing happen. And then once I'm in it, I cannot control it. So to take shelter of Sri Guru and Vaishnavas and beg for their mercy, to hold on tightly to their lotus feet. By that, we will be cooled by their mercy, and so much spiritual strength, Chid Bal, will come by their association. Would you like to add something, Sudevi?
Dandavat Pranam. What I wanted to add is that Srila Rupa Goswami, he gives us in the first verse of Upadesh Amrita some instructions, some extremely favorable things for us to control. And one of them is the mind. We hear that the mind can be our greatest friend or our greatest enemy. And we read in Mana Shiksha how we are supposed to pray. We can't negate the fact that we are human beings. And we have been rotating in this samsara, this cycle, since time immemorial. And to just completely stop and control also isn't our process, and it isn't our nature. Something good has to be put in place of that control. Otherwise, that anxiety can come out in the form of any sickness if I'm just pushing it away, or any mental thing and I'm pushing it, pretending those things aren't there. I used to have really bad panic attacks, and as he said the other night, Gurudev said, I've taken it, it's gone. Don't let it back in. And I never had another panic attack, but I do have to admit that there are times when my mind starts to go somewhere that I know that I could work myself up if I let it, if I obsessed on something, or if I allowed it. Because we tend to do that. We tend to think things and overthink them, and then think about what the consequences might be, or what if, and it goes on forever. And so yes, sometimes we have to have those moments where we need to think about things we don't want to have to think about. We need to deal with things. We live in the world. We're not only sitting down in the forest doing bhajan. It would be nice, but that's not. Everyone is living according to whatever karmic situation we are in. Limit it. Limit the madness of the mind. Not that I've ever watched a movie, but there was a movie once I heard of called Gone with the Wind. And in this movie, there was this girl. Her name was Scarlett O'Hara, not that I know. And she had this thing when she couldn't deal with something. She would say, I won't think about it today. I'll think about it tomorrow when I'm stronger, when I could deal with it. And I saw that and I thought, you know what, that's a really good idea. To give myself like a time limit. I'm not going to think about this thing. I have so many other things my Gurudev and Krishna have given me to think about. So if I have anxiety towards something, I would give only 20 minutes. And I made myself like a vow that I would only do that. I would have to think about something. I knew my nature was to go toward it. But the rest of the time I would have to learn to control my mind to say no. Tomorrow, at this time, that's your time to think about this thing and to try to figure out how to deal with it. Because what ifs may never come. It's just our inability, our understanding that we're not in control, as Kishori Mohan Prabhu was saying. And the reason I wanted to add this was because we are human beings and we are of a spiritual nature eternally, but with all of these different coverings and all of these different scarrings from different lifetimes, from childhood, from now. But all of this worry, if we think about it, what we're anxious for now, what we're freaking about now, in 5 years it will be a different anxiousness and a different freaking out, and it will have been pretty much a waste. Because ultimately, we use our intelligence, we do our best, and that's all we can do. The rest is up to Guru and Krishna and our karma. We use our intelligence as best as possible. But our Gurudev told us we can never, ever just try to control our minds. We have to let it run somewhere, and it has to be a positive place. It has to be either obsessing on the material or obsessing on the spiritual. And we make that choice. We have to make that choice. That is how we will control our minds. Gurudev said to let your mind run wild, run crazy, run free, but put some boundary around it. He said let it run to all of the different pastime places of Krishna throughout all of Braj Mandal. Let it run to Govardhan. Let it run to Gokul. Let it run to Madhuvan. Let it run to all the sweet pastime places of Krishna and obsess there. And slowly we will train our minds what we should be thinking about by just trying to stop thinking about something. I mean, if you know you're going to fast on Ekadashi, the first thing in the morning is you're hungry. Or Janmashtami, I'm going to take no water, I'm going to do Nirjal. For the first time, you wake up needing water, whereas before you cannot drink water for an hour, 2 hours. The moment you tell your false ego no, The moment the false ego starts to scream, how can you control me? This is where I find my sustenance. So controlling the mind, controlling the senses, doesn't mean that we are forcibly doing that. We are putting something soft and gentle and sweet in the wake of that. And it is being controlled by love and affection. That is how Sri Guru controls us, with love and affection. And that is how Krishna controls us, with love and affection. There was once a little boy who used to go on parikrama with us. And he was a really naughty boy. And no one could deal with him. Nobody. Everybody would actually end up picking on him because he was so bad. I happened to like naughty little boys. And so when I would see him, I would keep candy for him. And I'd give him a piece of candy and he would just look at me like, oh, you're nice to me. So then one day, we were on parikrama and Brajanath Prabhu was walking behind myself and this little boy. And just for fun, he pulled the little boy's shika. And he looked back and he was going to say something, but he saw, oh, it's Brajanath Prabhu. I can't. And I saw his face and he kind of put his head down. And I said, don't worry. If he does it again, I'll make him stop. And Brajanath Prabhu heard me, so he did it again. And I said, Brajanath Prabhu, knock it off. Don't do this. And he put his cloth, because he was laughing. Brajanath Prabhu was laughing. He said, okay, Sudevi, I won't. And this boy looked up at me like, oh, she told off Brajanath Prabhu for me. Then he used to sit next to me. And if he was being naughty to someone, I would say, stop. And he would immediately stop. And one day, he was really being naughty with one devotee. And I looked at him and I said, that's enough. And he just stopped and started taking prasad. And the devotee just looked at me with such awe and reverence. She said, how did you do that? And I said, with love, with affection. And so that is how Gurudev deals with us. Once there was a devotee, and she went crying to Gurudev and said, Gurudev, was so much pain. Every time I get up to chant, I fall asleep and I can't chant my Harinam. Gurudev, what can I do? What do I do? And Gurudev just looked at her and smiled. He was sitting on his bed and he smiled and he said, oh, you should go to sleep. And then when you wake up, Hare Krishna. Sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves and we have no compassion on ourselves. We are fallen, we are Badha Jivas, we need help. But we should also understand that in the place of calling for help, just trying to artificially put something else in there and control it is not what our Guru Varg has given us. They have given us the positive. Chant and remember the sweetness of Krishna. Where is Krishna? Oh, that time my Gurudev glanced at me and I know that he knew everything in my heart. Or that time when he went to Germany and there he told one person to hold his ears and stand up and sit down. How sweet was his chastisement. We have so many beautiful things we can control our minds with. So when that fear and that anxiety and obsessions come into our hearts, we should learn to control them, but control them with love and affection. And that means with the sweet pastimes of Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. Because I have an obsessive nature, and I do since I was in Gurukul. I had an incident that put me into a panic for the first time. And after that, I began to panic and have panic attacks. And then it became like an addiction, and I always panicked. And I knew when it would start. And there was no one. I knew that it was only fear and that it was baseless, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter that it made no sense. I would just dive into it and go into an obsession. But then I started to train myself to become obsessed with different Vaishnavas. So I would start searching database for everything about Narottam Das Thakur. And I would try to put my obsession on that. Read about Narottam Das Thakur, about this and that in Padma River. And what did he say in this bhajan? And what did Gurudev say about him here? And how does Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur quote him here? And I would begin to find so much nectar that I would forget my obsession because I was putting it in someplace positive. Now we're all in lockdown, or who knows what everybody is doing, but in Vrindavan we are. We can't even go out. Jamuna is just outside, and we're locked in the Bhavan.
There's a padlock on
There's
it.
actually a padlock so that we can't go out, so that the Bhavan, we can't get in trouble from the authorities. We cannot leave. And what can we do? If we're sitting in Vrindavan, but we're only thinking about, coronavirus or, taxes or death or things we can't control, getting injections, doing all kinds of things, then where will we be? We have a choice to either be in Vrindavan or be anywhere else. Even sitting in Vrindavan, we can be thinking about all of these other things, being anxious about what if? What if it never comes? What if all of those things never happen? And what if they do? What power, what control do we have over anything? If we try to surrender that mood to Guru and Krishna, they will protect us. They will take care of us. They will make all arrangements for us. Otherwise, why are we doing this? Just because we like the music and the prasadam and Thakurji's beautiful? We need to follow the science. Srila Prabhupada called it the science of Krishna consciousness. And it is a science and it works. Cheto Darpanamarjanam, that is a science and it works. It brings you from the beginning, cleansing the mirror of the heart to the very perfection of love for Krishna. This is the science that our Guru Varg have come to give us, and we need to slowly but steadily begin to make that progress. Otherwise, we can do this again and again and again for an eternity. Our Gurudev said we have been demigods and devatas. We have had so many human births. If we have been demigods and devatas, then we have known Shastras. We have known so many things. We have known about Krishna. We have known about Bhagavan. And yet it means we have fallen again and again. And now we are given this opportunity to learn Nishta, to learn how to have Guru Nishta. I'm going to follow the order of my Gurudev. I'm going to follow and begin now to try to chant and remember. It means to absorb my mind in other things than things of this world. Maybe there are things I can control. Maybe there is some charity thing I can do. But with the things I can't, with the things I can't control, like even my own body, what can I do? I can only surrender. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Giving up all of that desire to try to control. Gurudev, you are the one who is maintaining me. You are the one who has given me everything. You have given me relationship with Krishna. You have given me relationship with all Vaishnavas, with my Guru Varg, with Gauranga, with Mahaprabhu, with Radha Vinod Bihariji. You have given me everything. Why, oh why am I not putting my attention, my attraction, and my attachment there? Hey Gurudev, Kripa Bindu dear, give me one drop of mercy. Because one drop of your mercy can drown me in an ocean of love and affection for Krishna. We know that type of personality. Why are we running to everything else of this world? Why are we giving that Shakti, that power out to the material energy? Why are we not bringing it inside? Why are we not taking all of that Shakti that we are giving to everything, through our senses, through our mind, through our fears, through our false ego? Why are we giving it to the energy of this world of Kali Yuga? When inside, Sri Guru has sat down in our hearts and he has given us relationship with Radha and Krishna. Gurudev said when Guru gives mantra, he enters the heart and begins to make a kunja for Radha and Krishna to sit there, for us to do seva. And what is that service? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It is not an artificial imposition on the mind, Srila Prabhupada said. He is not telling us to be foolish, to be stupid persons. He wants us to be informed. Our acharyas are informed. But what they have informed us to do is our actual necessity. It is the only way out. Srila Bhaktivedanta Sridhar Maharaj says, if we don't begin to do it today, we will have to do it tomorrow. And if we don't do it tomorrow, we will have to do it in some lifetime. Because it is the only way out. Think about that. It is the only way out of this material entanglement. So why not start now? Why not begin this very moment? And if we can't give everything, then if we only have a minute, make that minute the everything that we have. As Prabhuji said the other day, Krishna is more attracted to one tear than thousands and thousands of words. If we can give one moment of our heart to Krishna, our Srila Prabhupada says that that is the perfection of our Atma. Once some devotees went to Srila Bhaktivedanta Sridhar Maharaj and said, what will happen to them? What will happen to all of those sannyasis that have fallen down? And the most unexpected answer came. Srila Bhaktivedanta Sridhar Maharaj said, Krishna will never forget that moment. Whether they were liberated or not doesn't matter. He will never forget the moment that they made that vow, that I am giving up everything in this world. I'm giving up my family, I'm giving up my country, I'm giving my very life for your seva. He said, Krishna will never forget that moment. So imagine if we, sitting in our homes, when we pick up our mala, for one moment can offer that much dedication to Guru and Krishna. They will never forget it. And Guru feels indebted. You should read in Sri Prabandhavali, Nityananda Trayodasi, and see how Gurudev tells how much indebtedness Guru and Sri Nityananda Prabhu feel if we will even call out the names of Gauranga, if we will do any little seva. They feel so indebted that they think they don't know how to reciprocate with us. Imagine, they're giving us seva, they're giving us the inspiration to do seva, and then they themselves feel indebted that we are doing seva. And it's not even real seva. That is the mercy of Guru, and what will we get in return? Inspiration. We will get reciprocation. Gurudev will give us inspiration to forget our anxieties. We will forget those 20 minutes that were saved for me to be anxious. I've done that. Oh, I was supposed to be anxious about taxes between this time and this time. Now I have to wait till tomorrow. Oh, Gurudev, how tricky you are. I was thinking about this, and then I forgot my time for my anxiety. Now I have to wait till tomorrow. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So Guru and Krishna will reciprocate with us, but we ourselves also have to make the endeavor. They have given us everything. Gurudev said they have removed all the thorns for us, and we can practically run with our eyes shut, holding on to the lotus feet of Guru. How can we become misled if we will only follow? This is loyalty. To follow, to take their instructions into our lives and actively make an endeavor to follow. It doesn't mean that we need to be like sitting in an association with hundreds of other devotees riding on the high of being in a group, but on our own, sitting alone. Now is when we are learning, do I have any nishta? Where is my faith? How weak am I really? And now I can take my pulse and see my sickness. And now, happily, I can truly call out and beg, I am helpless and I am so needy. As Srila Govinda Maharaj said, help me, I am burning. Oh Krishna, I am burning in the frying pan of this material world. Please save me. Send me your own person. I don't know them, you know them. Save me. He said, and Krishna will hear that prayer and he will send you association. He will send it even if you are in a jail cell. He will send you association. We'll talk about that jail another time. But I wanted to just add that because sometimes we hear devotees say, oh, just chant, and we feel like it's empty words. But I'm a person who does know, I wouldn't call it OCD, but obsession and panic. And my family members literally thought that I would end up in a sane asylum because I would not be able to function for days or weeks at a time due to panicking. And in one moment, Gurudev said a word. Whether he took it from me like that, or whether it was because I didn't want to disobey him, whatever it may have been, it showed me how superficial all of these things are, and how great our gurus are. What they are giving is so much greater than our own addictions and tendencies to feed our false selves. They are feeding the real self. All we need to do is hold on and follow. This is sarvasva tomar. This is loyalty. And this will give us the positive way to move forward and to not be so overcome by lamentation, by fear, by anxiety, and by suffering. Dandavat pranam.
I had to go watch it from there because it's just so powerful to hear from someone who has had that experience personally. I don't have that experience personally in this lifetime. I tend to be more along the lines of ignorance is bliss. So I kind of happily bounce along down the road. Always, everything is light for me, but I recognize that it's not that way for so many others. And I have seen personally, I've had to deal with Sudevi in that state until we were in front of Gurudev, and Gurudev just said that to her. I was shocked because it's like, oh my God, what do I do? There was nothing I could do. I'm not capable of removing that fear, that panic. I couldn't. And Gurudev just said,
You should.
Taking it from you. Now don't let it back in. And she was like, but? And he's like,
we need your
don't let it back
therapy.
in. That was it. Done. Oof. Just like that. And we were shocked. We were shocked. How is this possible? She was like, no. I need years of therapy for this. This is what we're supposed to do. And in one moment, Gurudev took it. This is the power of those who are connected to Krishna.
It's the least of them.
I know, but they have that power very easily. They can remove millions of anarthas of this world. Like I told before, I ran to Gurudev once. Oh my God, my mountains of pride, my anarthas are so great, they're so high. What can I do? What can I do? And Gurudev just looked at me like, you think your anarthas are so great? He just made this motion with his hand. He said, bah, it's nothing. He said very easily, it can go. Just follow my instructions. One thing that Sudevi reminded me of when she was speaking. There was one katha our Gurudev used to tell. It wasn't the Hari Katha, but it was favorable for us to develop our attraction to Hari Katha. Why? Because he's teaching us how to be one-pointed. So, in this story that he would tell, there was one very unhealthy person who went to the doctor. This person was very unhealthy, very overweight, with diabetes and all kinds of problems, heart problems. And he went to the doctor and said, "Doctor, I need help." The doctor said, "Oh, you're very unhealthy. You need to have a diet of fruits and grains and fresh vegetables and all kinds of good things. So come and see me in 1 month." So that person came back a month later, even more unhealthy, more overweight, more sick, and just on the verge of death. And the doctor looked at him and said, "What happened? Did you follow my instruction?" He said, "Yes." "You were eating steamed vegetables?" "Yes." "Fresh fruits?" Yeah. "You followed everything?" "Yeah." "Did you give up the other things that you were taking before? All of those fried foods, all of the unhealthy foods, the snack foods and the donuts and everything else? Did you give..." No. I just added your diet to my previous diet." This is what we are like when we come to the path of bhakti. Why am I not progressing? And so this is coming right back to where we were before. Because I am unwilling to give up those other things, and I'm trying to take this, but I'm not giving that up. As Sudevi was talking, someone sent me a very interesting quote by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, which I would like to share with you because it really hit home in a powerful way. Now he's speaking here about sannyasis, but really it is for all of us. It's for every jiva, because ultimately every jiva has to come to the point of sannyas. Sannyas means to give their everything exclusively to Krishna and to reject everything which is not favorable for devotion to Krishna. So he's saying those who have become tridandis, means who are sannyasis, have conquered their body, mind, and words. News found in periodicals is full of mundane talks. It is impossible for tridandis, sannyasis, to read such newspapers that report topics of the illusory world, Maya Katha. By reading them, now this is the instruction for all of us. By reading the concepts of the material world, or Maya Katha, one's consciousness no longer cooperates and becomes an enemy to us. So-and-so did this, so-and-so did that. By reading such things, adversity and material desires are created. This is a very powerful instruction, because nowadays we as devotees, and I'm making the quote marks, why? Because devotee literally means who is devoted to Krishna. And so we can check our own pulse, as our Gurudev would recommend. What percentage of this is devoted to Krishna, and what percentage is devoted to everything else? And what percentage makes excuses, trying to justify whatever nonsense or other activity that I'm doing, and claiming that this is directly or indirectly linked to devotion to Krishna. Because we also do this. We have these tendencies within us to justify, to make excuses. So here, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is saying that by taking the other thing, we think that I can do this one and I can handle the material energy. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada said the difference between you and me is that I am afraid of Maya. One devotee said, very, very close, very powerful, highly placed devotee, disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, spoke these words: "I dare Maya to remove me from the lotus feet of my Gurudev." Sure enough, gone in an instant. We should understand that Maya is Krishna's transcendental deluding potency. Daivi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya. Daivi, divine. My Maya, Duratyaya, is extremely difficult to overcome. We should have a very healthy respect of Maya. Srila Govinda Maharaj and some of our other acharyas have said we should pray to her. Oh Maya Devi, please be merciful to me. Please don't distract me. Please allow me to. You're also a devotee of Krishna, and you've been put into this position where you have to do this seva that you don't really want to do, to bewilder the jivas. Please help me. Please help me to engage my mind, my attention, my devotion in the lotus feet of Krishna. Please be merciful to me. Respectful, not daring, because she's very, very powerful. She can do anything in a moment. So when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is saying this here, he's saying, and he was actually speaking about what Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami. What did he tell him? Gramya katha na shunibe. Don't hear talks of this material world. Why? It will weaken one's resolve in bhakti. It will take the mind away from bhakti. And we can make excuses about it. But we will see how it will cause us to obsess and concentrate and dive into the endless ocean of this material existence. And it can take days and weeks and months of our life. Srila Gurudev said there are two things of value that we have in this world. Our time and our tears. And we cannot take back even one moment. And we only cry for those things we are attached to. So how we utilize that?
As you were speaking, there was one thing, because you were speaking a bit about impressions, and especially material impressions. And I was just wondering if you could tell what happened when Gurudev looked up at that huge poster in Los Angeles. Not a poster, billboard.
So, I didn't see it personally, not until many years later, but it was an impression which is being superimposed onto entire populations. In Los Angeles, there were posters being posted up of some scantily clad lady. Her husband was obsessed with her and wanted to post pictures of her all over the place. Big, big billboards. Gurudev looked up for one moment and immediately turned away. He saw for 1 second, what is that? And he looked away. This is Acharya. He's showing by his own example. I should not see these things which take the mind away from Krishna. But he asked the devotees, what did that say? And it said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And Gurudev said, one picture is worth 1,000 lifetimes in hell. One picture is worth 1,000 lifetimes in hell. And we see this also in Mahaprabhu, what he's telling. This is the potency of those material impressions. The thing is, we have been impressed by them again and again. We have deep samskars, deep impressions of the material energy. And it does not take much for any of those attractions to be rekindled. It doesn't take much at all. The slightest little reminder and poof. So it is recommended by all of our gurus, by all of our sadhus, by all of our shastra, by Nityananda Prabhu, by Mahaprabhu and all of his associates. All of those divine personalities are telling us, don't meditate on the things of this world. Don't see the pictures of the things of this world. Other people are doing that. There are people out there whose only thing is to collect the information of this world and reshare it with each other. They have compiled all of that information, spent thousands and millions of dollars and made really beautiful movies and presented it to the world to increase everyone's absorption and everything of this world, everything not to do with Krishna. And it is a shame that devotees are scouring that or being shared that and then giving it to the rest of us. It is a shame. It is sad. Because the rest of us, meaning those who have come into the shelter of Sri Guru, the shelter of Sri Vaishnavas, the shelter of Krishna, those who want to progress on the path of bhakti, we need our devotee friends to help us to remember Krishna and not to forget him. When we were young, there was a concerted effort amongst all of the devotees, and maybe now we might not appreciate that kind of thing, but back in the day, if you weren't wearing tilak, the devotees would say, "Where's your tilak, Prabhu?" "Oh my God, I forgot," or something happened, it sweated off, and then we would go and put tilak on. They would remind us of Krishna. And if anyone spoke anything nonsense, the other devotees would ask, "Does that help you to remember Krishna?" This was the mood back in the day. It seems maybe a little bit brainwashing, but we are brainwashed.
Cleaned.
No. We are currently stuffed to the max with all kinds of stool of this material world. All kinds of nasty things which only keep us bound in this material world of birth and death. What benefit does it do for our Atma? What benefit does it do for our minds, for our intelligence, for our senses, for our life? It's not that we should be foolish, but we should understand what is reality and what is not reality. What is the highest truth? Reality distinguished from illusion, that is, to culture or culture, Bhagavat Dharma, or loving service for Krishna. So all of this other stuff will add to our addiction to all of the material problems of this world. Everything else that is not to do with Krishna will add to increase and will kindle our anxieties, will kindle our fears, will kindle our birth, our disease, our old age, our death, and our consistent repetition in this cycle. That's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada called it violence to the jiva. Violence to the jiva. He said, it's not killing someone. That's not considered jiva violence. That's body violence. It's not hurting someone. It's not killing an animal or doing any. That's not violence to the jiva. That's body hingsa. What is jiva hingsa? Violence to the jiva. Two kinds. I'm going to say it again. I know I've said it before. Once again, there's two kinds of violence to the jiva. One, to actively encourage someone to do something or to meditate on something which takes their mind, their attention, and everything away from Krishna. This is violence to the jiva. And the other kind of violence is the complicit violence. I know about Krishna. I've heard about the wonderfulness of the process of bhakti. I've heard Mahaprabhu's instruction that wherever you go, whomever you meet, tell them about Krishna, because that is the only cure for all problems of this material world. Somehow remind them of Krishna. So I know about it, but what is violence to those jivas? That jiva comes in front of me. I have connection to that person, and I fail to tell them about Krishna or to give them the cure for all problems for all time. This is also considered violence to the jiva. So we have this opportunity now to be non-violent, merciful to ourselves, and as Srila Gurudev said, be merciful to me. This is our Guru Varga. They are the condensed forms of the mercy and compassion of Krishna. You cannot imagine how soft their heart is, how their heart bleeds upon seeing our suffering. That's why they're running after us, begging. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dide paro. Take Krishna. Krishna, Krishna Boli, they are saying, chant the names of Krishna. Gurudev said, be merciful to me and become happy. Be merciful to me and become happy. chant Hare Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada said the same thing. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Their hearts bleed upon seeing the suffering of the jivas, and they're begging us to become happy by holding on to their instructions to do what? Take shelter of Sri Harinam Prabhu. Take shelter of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Don't keep diving again into this blazing forest fire of material existence. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj said, everything in this material world, every atom, every particle, has been forever, consistently entering into the jaws of death. That is the only news of this world. That is why it is known as Martyalok, or the land of death. What is death afraid of? Krishna. Death is afraid of Krishna. So we should take shelter of Krishna. Then we will be happy, he will be happy, everyone will be happy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I was reflecting today, and I have to share this. Since our birth, getting close to 50 years now, since our birth, we have been very heavily and strongly impressed, not only by Srila Prabhupada, because we were sitting in his classes, but also by all of his disciples, our parents, all of that generation. From our birth, always remember Krishna and never forget him. All of the activities that we're doing in the path of bhakti is so that we can remember Krishna at the time of death. Remember Krishna, remember Krishna. And I remember once I was driving in the mountains with my mother on, New Year's, December 31st, going into January 1st, driving up the mountain to Badger. And our car hit black ice. It means it just started skidding right toward the edge of a 500-foot cliff. And as the car was going to the edge of the cliff, two words came out very loudly from two different mouths. One was Krishna, and the other one was something that starts with an S and ends with a T.
Oh.
Yeah. And the car stopped right on the edge of the cliff at midnight. Did I say I was with my mother?
Yeah.
And my mother says, "Oh no. Which one did you say?" And I said, "I think I said Krishna." And she was like, "No, no, no." The training is to remember Krishna. If we absorb our mind in remembering so many other things, what guarantee will there be of us remembering Krishna? All of our Guru Varga, what they have come to do is to impress upon us that we should always remember Krishna and topics of Krishna. As Gurudev would always say, chant and remember the sweet pastimes of Krishna. So now, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Guru Varga ki jai, Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. No. I was so happy that Sudevi was feeling well enough to come and share with us today. It's a rare treat, and from a place of experience, it has so much more potency. So I was very, very happy to hear from her place of experience.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Shravati Harilal ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam Gaur Premanande.
So thank you very much for being with us today, and also for your very important question. That question applies to most everyone in this material world, because we all go through it periodically. And just for your inspiration, your support, and your encouragement, for us to also remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga, the fact that you're present with us and that you're encouraging us, we cannot repay you. We are indebted for that, because Gurudev ordered us many times, but ordered us that even when he's no longer in this world, that we continue to travel and preach his mission everywhere. And we feel very strongly within our hearts that by sharing this message, this will be hopefully pleasing to Srila Gurudev. So we're making that endeavor, and you're giving us that opportunity. So thank you very much. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Radhe